What is up, everybody? It was thankful everybody's here. I know we had a couple people kind of DM me saying they're gonna be a little bit late. I think we had a couple of people in here saying they were gonna be at the someone's already echoing on me. So I'm just gonna mute all of you except for a few of you. So Adam and Patrick, why don't you guys just unmute yourself and we'll kind of go from there.
All right, Whiskey Nimrod, I want to come hang out in that room. Shit. What's happening? I'm in the wrong room at my house, Clinton.
Uh, I'm pinning myself, so I'm only seeing myself right now. So
Oh, gotcha.
well, it's gonna be a fun tasting because I think we'll get jumping in here too. I know everybody has different things going on. I read someone has a hockey game at 9:30, and they're kind of going from there and everything. But just wanted to kind of jump in on before them. There's no agenda. You guys are not getting a sales presentation. I think I've lit all of your credit cards on fire enough recently. So, and I'm gonna do that again at 9:30 tonight. So just be ready for a special email hitting all of your inboxes at 9:30. So you guys, if you follow me on social media personally, I'm dropping a surprise bottle tonight. It's going to be a weeded, so we'll talk about that later. It's all going to your inbox at 9:30 tonight. So keep ahead of that. So thank you all for joining us. Looks like we have 64 people in here. I thought we would have 64 people join the whole entire thing by the end of the year. So thank you all for having this first round with us. I think I know a lot of you. Some of you I do not know. So this is really cool for me to kind of be in here and allow us into your world. We've got a chance. Adam, I made you a co-host. You're good. We've grown a lot. We've grown a lot with you. We've taken a lot of your feedback and kind of gone from there. And shortlist, it was teased for. I think we teased it for about 6 months. We wanted to get it right. I still don't think we're 100% right. We still have some things to clean up, and we kind of know where we're headed with that. But shortlist bottle number one. How hopefully many of you have opened, shared. If you are waiting for tonight, please go ahead and crack it. It is meant to be open. Probably need some time to breathe. Probably need some air. Hopefully, everybody, if you are drinking it tonight, you're actually drinking water with it. This was meant to be kind of one of those bottles that you talked about, you thought about, you shared some stories with. Hopefully, none of you are halfway through or gone out of your bottle yet. Because if you're not, hopefully you're still alive. So
I
154
didn't get to
proof.
try it. I'm a little bummed, Clinton. I'm not gonna
I don't
lie.
even have it because when we bottled it, that's why I brought this home tonight too. There's a sample at the distillery I could have given you tonight. I meant to bring it home and I forgot it. But this is a pretty unique story. When Adam Patrick and I started the brand, we always we always we always look for
Mike's off,
things that were
he can control your mic.
always a little bit things that were.
He was gonna shut.
I got
Someone's
it.
talking.
I found it. It's excellent.
Everybody always, we always look for things that were different, a little bit out there. These barrels popped to us.
Clinton, I just muted you by accident. Sorry. I'm making it so that as people join, they will be muted. So sorry about that. Go ahead. No, you're muted still. Sorry.
There we go.
Got it now.
So I did
Right.
a dram of water with it, and it's outstanding if you do a little water with it.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about how to taste this thing correctly. But these barrels popped up in May. If anybody's been following the barrel market, it's a buyer season, that's for sure. These things popped up. Really didn't know what to do with them. We had an opportunity to kind of buy some of these barrels. We bought 12 of them. This and what into this blend was 8 of them. When they showed up from New Jersey, these were actually aged at Leard's Apple Brandy, so they had really cool history to them. But we kind of said we'll buy them, we'll see what they are, and they came in. I'll never forget handing the first thing to Patrick. He's like, "This is 177 proof. What are we gonna do with this?" And then the next barrel is like 172 proof, 168 proof. One barrel, two barrels were completely empty. The hoops were falling off. Uh, so it was a really interesting thing, and that's when it kind of hit to my mind is like, one, I can't go to distribution with these. Online is going to be very tough. And it's kind of where this first bottle of Shortlist was actually born. So this thing, I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again in terms of a brand, in terms of what I want to put out and blend into everything else too. 18 years is hard for American whiskey. These barrels are pretty crazy, and I don't know if we'll ever do this higher proof again. I mean, truth be told, when we blended this thing, the first proof was 160. 8, and it was aggressive. It was cool. It just wasn't something I was really happy with. So we proofed it all. We knew we wanted hazmat, so we proofed it all the way down to 140 and kind of met in the middle. 154 proof is still aggressive. I think it is going to be very, very probably one of the highest proofs on your shelves, especially of this age. And it just has a cool story to it. I think this is what short barrel was kind of born way back in 2016. Was always meant to be shared, kind of sipped and poured, and that's kind of where the Shortlist was born, out of that. But again, 18-year American whiskey. I'm just going to run through the stats here. 18-year American whiskey. It was distilled at MGP. It was actually distilled under the Seagram's brand, and then this actually spent 10 years of its life over in New Jersey. So if anybody's ever followed Leard's Apple Brandy, this was actually a product for their Applejack. So this would have been part of their stuff early on, from the broker that we bought these from. They kind of just sat in the back, and these things were dirty. When they popped up, they no longer needed them. I don't know why you'd ever put 18-year-old American whiskey into Applejack Brandy, anyways. But we bought them, and it's here. I got a few more of them. Still have no real plan for them of what we're going to do with them, but happy to introduce these as shortlist number one. And we're getting a lot of feedback
I
on
think
them.
Chris and George said they just wanted to get a straw each and see who could race to the bottom of one of the barrels. I'm not sure. George, was
Yeah,
that?
that idea. A great idea. Hey, Clinton, so high proof, as I remember, was around 174.
Highest I saw was 177, and that was jumping all over. But yeah, I mean, they were aggressive. They were like thick char. Like that's why it's so dark. These things, some of these barrels, the blend of 8, they had to be filtered. I mean, they were crazy sediment. It was like kind of suspending. It kind of looked like a weird science project.
If you let this bottle sit for a little bit of time, you'll notice it's almost like the bee's knees. If you hold it up to light, it kind of looks like bee's knees. It almost looks finished because there's very, very, very fine char and particulates in it, that will settle at the bottom. Low proof, I mean, the blend's 154, so the low proof, there's nothing even close to a 140. Like they were all upper 40s, low 50s, up to 170. But
Oh, the lowest proof we still have with them today was 163 proof.
jeez. Yeah, to what we keep bouncing back, where Adam Clint and I were hesitant on doing, even buying the American Light Whiskey, was we've had it in the past. We just took a flyer on it because of the age and what we were getting. We just took a flyer on it. It was
Okay,
12.
that had this on.
What we got was something that I wouldn't even consider this in the realm of American Light Whiskey. It drinks way more like a bourbon. Everyone that's open there is it drinks way more like a bourbon than it does a
Yeah.
light whiskey. And that's what's intriguing about this. It's got the age, it's got the proof, but it drinks like a hazmat bourbon more than, I'm not gonna throw out any other brands out there, but I've had some older American whiskey or American light whiskey, and it drinks way more like a bourbon than a light whiskey. I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks.
We tried some 12-year whiskey today that Clinton and I just looked at each other and said, "This
It
is
was
really
14.
boring."
It was
Oh yeah, it
14.
was almost 14. That's right. It was really boring. Ages.
Yeah, we got what was it? It was a beam mash
Yeah, we don't
bill.
need to share what it was because I just said
Yeah.
how terrible it was. But
Well, it might save someone from buying it out there, though.
yeah, we're gonna not. I'm not gonna share that. We're really excited. For anybody to know, I'm Adam. I'm a little more behind the scenes. I'm not in a bunch of our stuff. The fun joke is I put the short barrel, which is true because these guys are 6'3" and 6'4", and I'm not. But we're really excited to have everybody on here tonight. I've got the three of us spotlighted right now. But we really wanted to open this up as an opportunity.
And
I'm gonna ask you guys to not unmute yourselves. If you've got a question or something, then we can put hands up or whatever. But I keep having to mute people. But we really are grateful for the opportunity to interact with people. This brand started as a passion project and a side project for us, and has grown into something really exciting. And we're very grateful to have the opportunity to interface and interact with people who make this thing real. And we were just a couple of whiskey nerds that, picked a bunch of barrels and took a flyer at something. And we are very grateful to have this group of people on here and would love the opportunity to answer any questions you guys have. So if you've got questions, the best way to do this, I think, is with 70 people on, is pop into the chat, and if you got a question, type it, and we would love to we'll highlight somebody, get them on to ask their question live, and we'll make it a discussion. We don't want this to be talking at anybody. Patrick, did you draw that, but whatever that is behind you?
I did. It was last week.
So Alex, I see your comment over here. It doesn't drink like 154 proof. How much 154 proof are you drinking in life to tell me that? Because this is probably some of the, other than some of that crazy Ibra stuff that you've given me, Adam, from early
Is that
on. Some
Alex
of those,
Tillman?
yeah,
I'm gonna ask Alex to unmute.
yeah.
It drank so easy. I have to be careful.
That's impressive, man. I don't know if I should be scared of you or we should be having putting you in intervention.
Hey, man, I've had South Georgia moonshine, and this stuff is amazing. It
Did you
drinks.
start at age 13 or something?
Yeah, about 12, but
Alex, you
don't
got to
tell.
remember, Patrick's from Texas, Clinton's from Ohio. I'm from Georgia, so I'm with you.
Yeah, I grew up in South Georgia, and
Where are you from?
we used to get regular White Lightning white liquor and drink it straight out of the jar. And this stuff, it drinks so easy. That's why I have to pour 1 ounce pours, and then I have to close my bottle and put it up, because it's great stuff.
That's awesome. Where are you from originally?
A little place called Swainsboro, Georgia. Now I live in Gray, Georgia,
is.
which is halfway between Macon and Milledgeville.
Very cool. I went dove hunting down there one time when I was a kid.
Kudos to you. If you want to come help me blend, come on up.
Yeah, come on. Hey,
That could be.
But Patrick,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Michael Atkinson from Las Vegas, Nevada. There are going to be about 12, 13 people here at a friend's house. And there's going to be 3 shortlisters coming to the tasting tonight at my friend's Brian's house. And I just wanted to tell you, we just opened it and everyone's drinking it and everyone's, really, really loving it.
Michael, that is awesome. Are you from Vegas?
Not originally. I've been here 26 years. I grew up back east. That's why I'm a Eagles fan. And I grew up outside of Philadelphia.
Very cool. And what took you to Vegas?
I honestly changed a career. I knew I wasn't going to be an accountant the rest of my life. And
Patrick knows that feeling.
Amen.
You guys know Patrick's a recovering accountant, right?
Yeah. So I got my degree in hotel management and from UNLV. And basically, I'm a full-time poker player, poker coach, and I do have yes, I've been a professional poker player, pretty much throughout the 90s and also, since 2003.
Wow.
So,
Michael
Yeah.
also asked me every day when we're coming to Nevada. So
It's actually really funny that you should ask that,
Bet on
Michael,
it?
because we're working with a group right now that if what they want us to do comes through, we have to add 2 states. One of them is Massachusetts and the other is Nevada.
Okay. Which group is that?
Can't say. But they own some assets in the restaurant and hotel space.
Okay.
But it would be to do some possibly private label stuff for them and to do some single barrels for their restaurants.
Well, here, let me just show you guys real quickly. This is some of the bottles that were brought over so far tonight. Just want to show them off to you. We have little bourbon junkies, the new Kentucky. I got this from Oak. It's a 9-year whiskey thief.
Here, tilt down a little bit. I'm seeing just the tops. There we go.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. Then I got the Limestone Farms private stock, the short barrel. This is Takes Copper and Cask. Just came out about 3 weeks ago. We have a little Scotch if you like Scotch. Springbank 10.
guys are ready.
I love
Another
Springbank.
Scotch.
Springbank is highly underrated.
And then also over here, we have a lot of really, really nice bottles. We have the A. Smith Bowman Cask Strength, little Old Charter, the San Diego Distillery, some Stag, some Blantons, a lot of E.H. Taylor, some George C. Stagg up there, and some Pappy, along with some other smoke wagons. And then this, to be honest, guys, to me is one of the 3 best bottles that you cannot find.
Oh, you know what?
PFT.
We got to try that with the Michter's head distiller team at a charity event that we do every year in Atlanta, and all
Uh-huh.
three of us were blown away by it. It was
That's
fantastic.
super cool.
Yeah, there's only like literally 3 places I know of that have it, and they're like charging like an arm and a leg for like $5.25 a bottle.
That's wild. I'm glad you got a bottle.
Yeah, this year's is really
It's
good.
actually my friend's. It's
Well,
actually
I'm glad your
his.
friend got a bottle. I'm glad you get to drink some.
Yes, yes. So right now there's about 5 of us, and we're going to get started here probably in about half hour, 40 minutes when the rest of everyone arrives.
Awesome. Well, Michael, it's great to meet you. I'm going to unpin you here for a moment, but if anybody has more questions, let us know. And we know, we're still very, one of the jokes that we've made pretty consistently since we started is that we are building this plane while we're flying it. And we are all new to the bourbon industry. We're growing a lot. We've always been big fans, and we know we're not always going to get it right. And we know that we're always going to keep learning along the way. So we want to hear y'all's thoughts on the on the bottle. If you've got it, pop a note in there. But if you have questions about how Shortlist got started, how we went in the direction we went, anything about the history of the brand, anything about what we got up and coming, hair tips from me, anything you guys got questions about, we're here.
Is the chat disabled?
Yes.
The chat.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to let you guys know. You
Huh.
can't pop in a question there.
The chat
By
should
the way-
have been.
The main chat is. It says chat disabled at the bottom.
Yeah.
Now it's good.
There we
This
go.
shirt
Meeting group
is
chat.
for-
We're good.
Yeah.
This
Sorry,
shirt
guys.
is this shirt is for all bourbon lovers. If you
Max,
can read it.
Yeah, Max, I see your question to Kai. Oh man. Could be my favorite rye blend I've ever done. I've done a few, I haven't done a lot, but I let
Where
Adam
are you
taste it
seeing
today.
this question? Was that
Yeah, I
direct
don't
I'm
see that
getting-
question.
I'm getting DMs from everybody. So
Oh, got it. Okay. So
yeah, so I'm just going by my DMs up here. We're just gonna keep it that way
It
for right now. So
initially
everybody wants to DM me.
changed- They can change it to the group chat. That's the reason. It initially said send to Clinton Duggan or Dugan. Sorry. And
yeah, send it to the group chat. We're happy to
just
get
change
them
it
in
to
there.
the main chat, guys. If you're selecting it, it should be
Yeah,
right
thank
above it
you.
on your phone.
But I can talk about Sky. We can. I think most of you taste American whiskey, so we can just kind of keep this open for them. So Takai,
Who had the question on the
first-
Takai? Sorry.
Max R. I don't have a last name here.
Max
But,
R, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Feel free to ask your question, and I'll pin you up here for a second.
Awesome.
Oh, no video, but that's all right.
Hey guys,
So
yeah,
this-
I've just heard good things and wanted to learn some more about what's coming up.
Cool. So,
So
hey,
we had a-
real quick, tell us what Takai is, Clinton.
So it is
Yeah, I
a
didn't know.
Hungarian. Is a Hungarian sweet wine. It's actually the wine of the king. So it's a fortified, kind of really sweet wine. It's I'm still learning a lot about it because I have to write some tasting notes on it. But it's really cool. It's a
Have you
dessert
ever
wine.
had
It's
like
definitely sweet
an
on its own.
ice wine, like a German ice wine from up in the Alps in Germany? It's got a similar finish and mouthfeel to that, is what we discovered. And so imagine a really cool blend of rye finished in these barrels that aged ice wine. Is kind of how it tastes, but with a hint of orange to it. And it's not overly
Yeah,
sweet.
it's-
So you
it's-
want to talk about the rye blend?
Yeah, so it's kind of taking a mind of its own. Originally started as a 6-year. We were just gonna run a 6-year age statement on it. And then if you guys have been following kind of our rise, we have some 12, 13-year-old rise that really just didn't pass any of our standards to really do much with. They weren't really single barrel worthy. They weren't really anything that we could, and they was low proof. So we
or
actually
some of them
blend.
were really low fill. I mean, some of those high age stuff was like 12 bottles in it.
Yeah, or they just were that too. So we blended that in and then rebarreled those back in barrel for another 45 days as a blend. So it's going to be a blend of 6 to 12-year-old age stated. That if you guys been following, probably hope most of you follow us on social media, you probably saw me post that I found some. We have some Jefferson's barrels right now. I'm pretty sure they're Oceans, but I can't confirm that. 2 of them had a very similar funky profile where the Takai was. So I actually put those in yesterday. So it's a blend of 6-year-old, 10-year-old Kentucky, 6-year-old OZ, 6-year-old MGP, and 12-year-old MGP in the blend, all finished in Takai barrels for a minimum of 8 months. And it's probably one of the funkiest rye. I've had Penelope, I've had Dark Arts, I've had them all. This thing drinks like a cocktail, but it's just funky, sweet, good, perfect rye, 107 proof. And it's not, I didn't cut it down. That was just barrel interaction. So even coming out of the barrels was 107.8 proof. So we're probably not even going to add any water to this. It'll probably come down a little bit naturally, or we're going to find a low proof rye and cut it with rye rather than cutting it with water. But it's going to be really cool. We had someone randomly walk in the tasting room the other day and taste it and said it definitely beat Penelope's. He hadn't had dark arts. I'm not trying to beat anybody when I do this. I just wanted something funky, and it was really cool to kind of watch it take note. Thing of bottles, at the end of this month, it's in tank right now. Our large 1,000-gallon tanks, they need to mingle. We let everything mingle in stainless seal. If there's any secrets in the business, which there aren't too many, let them mingle in stainless before you do anything, and they have a chance to really kind of recreate and stop aging. So it's really cool. But definitely excited about that. About 1,000 cases. It will be online. I'll make sure everybody has it. Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Florida, all going to distribution. No single barrels of it at all, but definitely make sure everybody has access to it. It's going to be $89.99 on the price.
We've had a few questions around single barrels, and somebody asked us today, can we get a cigar batch single barrel? No, that's not how any of this works, because cigar batch, in order to do that, we would have to take our blend and then rebarrel it. So any of there are certain products that we do. So for example, cigar batch is a blend of 4 different finishes. The Tokai is 4 distinct rye whiskeys of 3 different ages from 3 different sources, all blended together, then put into Tokai casks, and then reblended together to get the right profile. So some of the stuff we're not going to be doing single barrel. And we're cutting way back on single barrel of bee's knees this year because we find them to be wildly inconsistent. And just quite candidly, we've had more misses than hits on them. And it's not because it's not good. It's because when we are blending bee's knees for bottling, it requires that you constantly churn it with a blender the entire time to make sure there's no settling and to make sure that any particulate of honey gets evenly distributed across all the bottles. And when you have something that's a single barrel, it's almost impossible to do that because you don't have enough.
It's like concentrated.
Because it's so concentrated, and also because there's it's not enough liquid in a single barrel to properly fill a blending tank. And so when we do a single barrel, for the most part, we're filling directly out of. We'll strain it and then fill it straight out of barrel, right? And so when we're bottling an OZ Tyler, we're bottling a Beam, or we're bottling any of our own stuff, or MGP or Whiskey House, or any of the stuff that we're doing.
Oh wow!
It's pretty basic, but there's so much particulate within bee's knees. It is literally. I've said this for years now. This is our 5th iteration that's out. It is the stickiest, messiest mess that you can possibly imagine. About every 100 bottles, we have to stop the entire filler and use GNS, grain neutral spirits, to
clean the lines.
Otherwise, this is a bee's knees too. And otherwise, the lip of the bottle sticks to the filler, and the bottle gets lifted up, and we've had bottles break on the line because they're sticking. Physically, just stickiness to the thing. Whiskey
and that's
Nimrod
mainly singles.
had some really cool questions. So I'm going to ask Whiskey Nimrod to unmute for us. What's up, Zach Litwack? I'm going to ask Whiskey Nimrod to unmute for us, and then if Whiskey Nimrod's got a hell of a background, so I'm going to ask him to start talking so that I can co-highlight him here.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to add a spotlight.
Do you want to see
I want to see this freaking room, man.
We'll take you through. We'll have to go outside the room, I guess. So.
Guys, I think he's got my whiskey room beat.
He's got a door too.
Yeah.
Where are you located, dude?
So this is just my house. So
no, I mean like what state? You don't have to give me an address.
Oh yeah, so we're in Lancaster, PA.
I have your address.
Yeah. So
awesome.
yeah. So this is like the man cave area, right? And then you have this right here with a electromagnetic lock on it. And it's also got a battery backup. So even if the power goes out, the door stays locked.
Because that's when or can you at least open it when the power's out? Because that's when you need to drink.
Yes, because you have a battery backup system.
Okay,
so
good.
Power's out, my battery's good for a couple hours. So, and then
you have a safe room.
Yeah. So, and then it just continues on. So yeah.
Damn.
Are you adopting?
So I love the Whistle Pigs.
Boss Hog 1.
Big fan of those. Got a Boss Hog 1 over here. you know.
So you've been doing this for a little while.
Yeah, and you got your normal B-Tax, some OFCs,
Wow.
Lithium, got some Pappies, Purple Tops.
Damn, Adam, I think you might be beat.
Yeah, got a couple things. The Bell Meads I just really love because this is like
Those are good.
2015 juice.
Those are killer.
Actually, this Bell Mead honey probably started it all, right? This was probably the OG.
They love us.
Yeah,
honey cast. I don't know if anyone did it before them, actually.
No,
they did.
They are the
They
first
did.
ones to do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it right. I learned a lot from them when they did the True B and like everything else too. They were fun. But I saw your question. So my background's marketing. I do not have a distilling background. I do not have a blending background. I've actually only been doing this, which is hard to believe, a year and a half full time. So when we started the company, Patrick and I all had full time jobs. Patrick went first. He's been in 2 years, 6 months. I've been a year and 6 months. I don't know. We just always had really good palates, and people trusted our single barrel picks. And I kind of just nerd out on the chemistry and science of whiskey. That's why I don't get too crazy with that. Blending to me, that's something Adam Patrick will tell you. We're not trying to hide crappy whiskey. So I'm taking really good bourbon. We're blending really good bourbon and either finishing or even like the 4-grain that just came out. We're just putting our unique spin on it, but we're not trying to go so far off our lanes. We're using grains from this area and this others too. We're just kind of having fun. And, I've been very fortunate to have a really good warehouse that ages whiskey really well, except for right now I needed to cool off. And it's just been one of those things where I learned, I'll tinker with bottles and I'll do different things and I'll do my own blends of my bars back here. And about a year ago, Adam's like, all right, everybody needs titles. You're it. You're the guy that's been doing this anyway. So it's kind of really where it came from. But it's not me. It's just not me. Patrick's doing a lot of the front stuff, but I'll still pick his brain as long as he hasn't had coffee in the morning about what things are missing. And I have Sam, who hopefully if you guys have ever met Sam's kind of my assistant blender, but it's kind of blending by committee. I just have the title, but we're always looking for things that are different and unique. How do we pick
Patrick and my job is just to tell him to stop.
Yeah, or just believe in what I'm creating. That's the hardest thing. How do you pick
sometimes and be like, I think I'm going to add 2 liters of something to this blend. I'm like, oh my God, why? There's like 1,000-gallon blend. He's like, it just needs a little bit more of this. Just stop.
Yep, stop.
Yeah, but it's science. And then how do we pick a barrel of these needs? We went over that. The single barrels will be a little bit later this year. But if anybody wants to come do a private barrel of bees knees, bring it down. We take Amex. I'm just kidding. We can do that.
And also, just in terms of this light whiskey. So I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not a huge light whiskey person, right? So
me either. Yeah,
but I'm a huge short barrel, like bees knees. Like I've got a lot of your, obviously, you got your toasted, your 12-year MGP, some of your other stuff here. But like I think my first light whiskey might have been that High West light whiskey, and I was like, this is not very good. But we were both agreeing. So John's also a shortlister as well. We were just like, man, this is actually, I mean, no, it's not a bourbon. I mean, it doesn't taste like a bourbon per se, but it's actually a really good light whiskey. And it's maybe 125 proof, maybe we were saying. It's actually, and I wouldn't say that just because you guys are here, because if I really didn't like it, I just wouldn't say anything. I would just
appreciate that
quiet, right? I wouldn't dog it, but I wouldn't say anything about it. But actually, this is probably the best light whiskey I've had, and I've had a lot of. So
I appreciate that, and too, honestly, I accept feedback. Like I just admitted, I've only been doing this for about a year and a half, 2 years of really trying to figure things out. So, if there's things that are just kind of off-putting or things taste different, like we learned a lot this summer with the heat. We tried to put some things out that we thought were good, but we missed on a couple barrels that got released after they bottled. They were selected in May, bottled in July, and it got tannic on us. Like, it's the truth. It happens. We're learning. So if you guys ever taste the barrel, or it's just like, hey, that didn't taste like something I've had, can you tell me why, or something like that too? We'll happily dissect and get in there. We're learning. Like, we're not trying to pretend. It's not what it was. Charles, you guys on the replacement. We're working on the replacement situation, Charles. We'll have it for you hopefully in the next week or so.
Charles, if you notice, Adam, Clint, and I aren't drinking any because we had to give up hours for some damage, some breaks.
Yeah,
in
one of the
shipping.
first things
So,
we learned is
yeah.
we need to make sure that whatever blends we're doing for Shortlist, that we've got about 3 full cases of extra. That's one of the things we learned.
I mean, in this
Yeah.
specific scenario,
Also, if you guys are interested in this, I see my orders coming in. I'll talk about it, but check your emails.
That one's a fun one. We'll talk about that one. So to Tracy, that 4 grain, it's interesting that you said it. So the 4 grain will be very direct about where the concept of the 4 grain came from. There's a lot of companies out there. One of the things that we've really had to work on as a team is, are we picking for us or are we picking for the crew? So before I get to Tracy, I'm gonna unmute one of my best friends in the world here for a second. I'm gonna ask my friend Chris to unmute. So Chris has a distinct note about him versus everybody else in this room, including Clinton. And Chris Allwater was an original member of the Short Barrel Picking Group. So Chris was one of the first. Chris was at our first. We were at our first pick ever, weren't you?
Not the first.
Or the second pick.
I
I guess no. You and Clinton joined at
there.
the same time. You and Clinton joined at the same time. So before we were a brand, Chris is one of my closest friends. He lives out in Dallas, and Chris will tell you from when Patrick and Clinton and I and Chris and the original group of guys used to pick barrels. We were picking for a buddy's store, and we would ask the owner of the store one question every time, which is, are we picking for us or are we picking for your customers? So Chris, what's your favorite of the old picks? Do you have one?
Under Pressure, probably the Short Barrel.
That was a great.
Roll Another one was really good too, but I think Under Pressure, and then that Weller Foolproof that we picked when Clinton was there with us there as well.
Oh, Clinton, the one where Jason left with a 750 of it in his water bottle.
Yeah, I'm probably doing our E.H. Taylor, the 10-year mash bill.
That E.H. Taylor was awesome. The original Eagle Rare mash bill too was fun too.
I think I got one bottle of that left.
Oh God, that's so good. Well, Chris, I just wanted to introduce you to some of the crew here because it's fun. Tracy, I'm going to unmute you for a second here. I'm going to mute Chris. Tracy, you there? So Tracy made a comment, which is the 4 grain is the least favorite, but it's still pretty good. So one of the things that we had to make a decision on as a brand is what are we going to do? Because when we first started, our first release we ever did was a 6 single barrels.
I'm here, by the way.
Oh, hey, Tracy.
Hi, sorry.
So Tracy, what's your favorite of the short barrels that you've had?
Oh my, it's either Sapsquatch or the Double Oak series.
Okay, so Sapsquatch or Double Oak. Where do you live? Are you in Georgia or are you somewhere else?
I live normally about an hour south of Columbus, Georgia, but I have a condo in Buckhead, so
cool.
So I'm there frequently.
Have you? I'm not at the distillery a lot. Have you been up to visit us?
Oh, lots of times.
Oh, awesome, cool. Well, it's really nice to meet you.
Yep, nice to meet you.
So for us, we had to make a decision. We were at a pivot point where we were like, all right, do we want to be a single barrel company, or a limited offering company, or do we want to be a brand that has consistent core products? In terms of what the majority of what we do is, and we made the decision that we want to be a generational brand that's around for a long time, that is a household name among bourbon drinkers. And in doing that, we had to create some affordable, approachable bourbons. Hold on one second. Let me make sure my dog doesn't try and go down these stairs. Hey, come
There
here.
you go.
Oh, everyone's gonna get what we get.
Oh, no. It's Esty, who's my newer dog who doesn't know how to use the spiral staircase, and she gets sad. Esty, come here. So we had to make this decision of what are we going to do? And we decided we want to be a brand that everybody can approach. We never want to price ourselves out of somebody being able to try our products. And we got a lot of feedback that, the economy is a little tight, 60, 70 bucks, 80 bucks is a little much if I don't know your brand. And so we were experimenting with some stuff, and it was literally me, Patrick, and Clinton, and and Sam pretty late in the day about a year ago.
And Dominique Wilkins.
And Dominique Wilkins, the former Atlanta Hawks player. And he was in doing a barrel pick, and my dad was actually there. And we were trying to figure something out, and we were tasting some single barrels, and I was like, you know what? I want to try something. And we blended together some wheated bourbon and some rye bourbon. And we were like, I think we just found our new core product, because we were really trying to find something that we can consistently produce at low 90s proof under $40. And so we made the decision, all right, we're going to go hard on this, which is a 4 grain. We really want to have a good, better, best. And at 92 proof, the bourbon nerds hate the word smooth, but we wanted something that was smooth. We wanted something that was approachable. We wanted something that was for everybody, to where this could be your day-to-day bourbon, and we could make the rye or the toasted your special occasion bourbon, and the double oaks and the limited offerings are really special occasion bourbon. And one of the things that we made the commitment to do is we're sticking with. I'm a huge Willet fan. My personal whiskey cellar is filled with old Willets, and when they first launched, they had a $10 a year rule. And so we really want our maxed out price point to be at $10 a year for single barrels, or at quit whining, or at about $109 for limited offerings.
What mash
Tracy, also Sir
purple tops? Sorry to interrupt. I was just curious.
Hold on one sec. Sorry. Trying to get my
No, on the match. Tracy, I saw your comment. More states. We could be in 30 states tomorrow if we wanted to be. We tell distributors no every day. I'm probably still the only brand that's told Breakthrough. I laughed at them and told them no. We have no desire to be in a bunch of states right now, especially that we can ship to states. Brands that grew too fast, COVID through 23, are now on closeout shelves, and people kind of forget about them because they grew too fast. That's what we're trying not to do right now. So we'll probably be in 10 states by the end of the next year, and that's probably our max of where we go. When with growth comes, I've watched a lot of brands grow really quickly. Smooth Ambler's one. You can look at Bell Mead and stuff they've done when they've taken their high age statements and brought in a lower crowd. They've basically bankrupted themselves because they lost their brand, they've lost their integrity, and that's not what we're trying to do. So we're purposely slow on growth. We're very fortunate that we've had same state growth this year. We have cocktails in Disney World and SeaWorld and all the other crazy things right now too.
I think he froze for a minute. Yeah, so it's not, by the way, it's not that we don't want to be in these states. We obviously do want to be in the states. We just don't want to screw it up, is what it comes down to. I don't know that, well, Randy, I really appreciate that. We've got 14 employees total, including our sales staff and production team. And we never want to put ourselves in a position where we can't satisfy orders. We got a call from Texas today with a PO, and it's going to eat our remaining supply of that specific product. And so we want to make sure that under no circumstances are we going to put ourselves in a position to not be able to satisfy the demand from the people in the States, because it's really hard to build momentum. It is it's fighting tooth and nail to get shelf space in a Total Wine or in a Sprayberry bottle shop or in a Corks and Caps or in any of the Specs or any of these stores. So if it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of cash to get these spots. And it takes us, traveling and getting away from our families for the weekends and for the weeks. And Clinton's been on the road a ton, so is Patrick. And, for us, we're going to fight like hell to get on those shelves. We want to make sure we can keep the shelf stocked.
And I'll talk like a proud dad for a second. I mean, what we do when we open up a state is it's different than what other brands will do. We will show up and we will hire in that state brand reps for that state. So Texas has been the most recent state, and we're about to blitz the market and split up. Texas, as anybody knows, is about 7 states in one. So we got to pick and choose our battles there. But to pat our team on the back real quick, the states that we're in currently, every single state has surpassed last year's case volume as of the last day of Q3. So going into Q4, we've surpassed last year's case volume.
Total
So
volume.
what'd you say?
Total volume for the year.
Yeah, total volume for last year. So we are trying to achieve same state growth, and we've achieved that in every single market that we've been in, all 4 states. So Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. We just opened up Texas, and then we opened up online with a short list. So year over year, we've had success in the states we are because we've worked our butts off in those states. I mean, we travel nonstop. A lot of these are day trips, meeting with distributors, meeting with accounts, hitting the road, making placements. So it's a labor of love. But we don't just want to go spam 30 states. And quite honestly, like Clinton's got a 2.5-year-old, Adam's got a 13 and a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. How's
12 and 15, yeah.
Yeah. I've got 6, 4, and 1. So I don't want to go to Idaho in the middle. I'd love to go to Idaho. I don't want to go to Minnesota in the middle of winter. Nebraska in the spring doesn't seem like a beautiful place to go, but eventually, maybe. But right now, we can access those states with what we're doing right now with the short list. So that's where we put our heads together and came up with what are we going to do?
Well, and as shortlisters, you get discounts online. So people are asking about Illinois, they're asking about California, place like that. I think the only states we don't ship to right now are Utah and
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
There's a Dakota in there, yes.
So as shortlisters, you guys get a discount. And so now, hey, Nebraska's awesome. It's just there's only 3 of us, right? And so I will tell you, there's a couple of states that we're heavily talking to right now. Alabama and South Carolina just kind of make sense because our sales team can drive there in a day and back. So those are ones, and also in Alabama, we're going to be working most likely with a distributor we already work with in Georgia. And then we're talking to in terms of the stores Tracy asked about, how do you get our product if you're in Georgia? Any liquor store in the state of Georgia can order from Empire Distributors for Short Barrel or from Old Fourth, from United Distributors for Old Fourth. And so if you go to a small shop and say, hey, I want you to get this, and they're able to do it. The 3-tier system sucks. I want to read this one.
Nebraska's a beautiful state. Apologies.
It is quite beautiful. Here, I want Steve to unmute here and share his thoughts, because it's better coming from him than from us. Because I think a lot of people don't understand how this works, and I would love for Steve to introduce himself. I don't know Steve, but I would love for Steve to get on here and talk for a second. What's
He's
up?
about to put me on a 6-hour TED Talk here.
Well, I got to say, I'm in Florida.
Hey, Steve.
Northeast Florida, so Palm Coast, actually, which is in between Daytona and St. Augustine.
Nice.
And there are a lot of little good stores around here. Forget Total Wine. ABC's okay. You spend enough, you get in a vault, you'll get some good stuff. That's because they have a monopoly on Weller. But anyway, the industry's like downturning with the glut and with, the younger generation kind of, I don't know, drinking tequila or beer or not drinking at all. So it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's the greatest time to be in the business, but I like what you guys are doing. I like what Evan, I guess it's Evan North. I like what the Junkies are doing. And I don't think you have to be in every state. And what I see or what I read on YouTube or consider or talk to the liquor store owners that I know, the 3 tiers kind of messed up in that as a distributor, you have a hard time selling directly to a liquor store. I don't know that you can legally, or I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but the distributors are supposed to do a job and they kind of don't. I mean, they'll push something to get better commissions or whatever. And so they'll push something, and then the next month or 2 months or 3 months, they'll stop pushing that and push something else. And so that the store owner's left with like, well, now what? I got the shelf space for that. And then they no longer carry whatever product they were pushing a month or 2 ago. So it's a tough business. I don't envy you guys. I like being able to come in and buy. Listen, I'm I've got over 550 bottles, but I love American Light Whiskey. So I joined when I saw, this. So it was like,
Cool.
how can I not get that? Okay. This brings me up to 28 bottles of American Light Whiskey, which
Dang.
I
Wow.
probably will never drink half of what I got. So, but it's it's not the highest age statement. There's some 20s, but it's pretty high. It's darn high. And then the proof is the highest. So I love this.
I saw the 20s. We were offered the 20s, but they didn't fit our $10 per year model. That was the
Yeah, they
biggest
were
thing
too.
on us.
They really, the 20-year barrels were twice the price almost of the.
I don't doubt that. I mean, I the only people. I mean, I guess Cellbox has some 20s, but they're expensive. This is not expensive.
Yeah, but he's cutting out. But he can cut out his 40% margin.
He can. That's the other thing.
So it's good. It's really good.
Steve,
Well, we appreciate it, Steve.
what you're describing is very accurate. We have to be very careful with what we say and how we say it. But the post-COVID reality of the distributor relationship is technology's changed a lot. A lot of reps can order off iPads. Distributors are trying to find their sea legs post-COVID of head counts and brands and how they can order and what the new world looks like. So it's been what's gotten lost in translation is the touch points by brands, and that's what we like to do. That's why we're not going to spam 30 states. It's if we go into a state, you're going to see Clinton, myself, Adam, he runs his own company, but he will be traveling in states. Our reps will go in states and give the actual touch points with the accounts, get to know the independents, get the
Yeah,
relationships.
that's what Josh Nixon just said. Is just distributions. You got to reach independents, and we love independent retail. Independent retail is our bread and butter.
Absolutely.
And Lyndon, you have more short barrels than I do, unless you count the barrels I own.
Yeah, no, the market's definitely shifting. I know some of my favorite brands are on closeout shelves in Florida and other states we travel to, and guys that I have a lot of respect for and are just trying to figure out how to get their stuff pulled through. Pricing has whiplashed. Under $60 is kind of the new norm when it comes to getting shelf placements. Under 40 will get you even more. But these days of these $109 6-year-old barrel picks and stuff, I got a saw down in Florida today that a store picked up 3 Willet barrels. They were $4.99, $5.99, and $6.99. Like those days are like, I know there's a lot of people that are, that's 1% of the whiskey population, and those guys are still being picky too, and ladies are still being picky too. So it's changed as a buyer's market. We're passing, like I said, when I started, we passed a lot of savings on to you. I have seen more orders come through. That's why my internet paused because my phone was going crazy. Let me talk about this thing first before we get too much crazier. So this is I dropped this tonight. So Shortlist, this is the first one. So this is a weeded MGP. If you've ever had Old Elk MGP 95.5, this is Old Elk MGP 95.5 that we were able to acquire really, really, really on the low and pass the savings on to you guys. These barrels have been killer. About 111. This is 111.3 proof. Probably one of my favorite weeders we've done, 95.5. And what did I just happen to Adam? But wanted to drop something special tonight for all of you guys on here. I think it actually is about to sell out, which is crazy. Sure enough. But these barrels are cool.
When we started the shortlist, we had no idea what to expect, and I think as we were watching these numbers climb up in July and trying to figure out how many barrels or how many gallons we had of this American Light Whiskey for the first release, we had to cap it. We had to put a deadline and cap it at 400 people. Just simply, we had so many people signing up. But what we quickly realized was, hey, single barrels aren't going to work for this group anymore. Like there's just too many of y'all. So I see some comments asking about single barrels. We can absolutely pick some barrels or,
we have 10 coming. There's 10 coming.
Yeah, do some for the group. But Adam, you're on mute. Single barrels are simply not going to cut it for this group. If we drop a single barrel, it's going to sell out in 5-10 minutes. So we're trying to make blends and fun, curious things for the group.
We're doing micro batches is one of the things that we're doing.
Yeah. And don't be surprised don't be surprised if we don't see double oaks like when the short barrel fans were picking the other day. and they had a hard time picking a double oaked rye for the group. I was like, we're just gonna blend them so we can get 400 bottles of that and at least survive. I mean, we have every anticipation of growing the short list to 1,000+ people. I don't know if we'll get there by the end of the year. We just crossed 500 this week, which is still mind blowing to us. But like that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do fun things. Don't think that there won't be like first things like tonight and the first 96. But they got the ride stuff. There's definitely unique things out there. But even our online
Hey,
distributors,
is there
we've
a code
grown.
for free shipping for these guys?
It should be your short list ship.
Can you post in the chat?
Yeah, let me just.
Hey,
People are using it
Tracy,
left and
if
right.
you love the short barrel rye, the first 96 bottle, then I understand why you don't like the 4 grade.
Yeah.
Those could not be more different.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they have different purposes, right? Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
you got sandpaper and you've got polish. Yeah, they're definitely very, very different. It's interesting. Somebody just said, we really appreciate that you guys love. Clinton just posted it. That you guys, let's see. Oh, it was not church shipping. Interesting. Good. Okay. How do you? Somebody asked in here, that you really love this first one. But how do you follow that? You'll see. We got some fun stuff coming. We have been on a buying tear and moving stuff down as fast as we can to Georgia because we love how stuff ages. And we've got to pop off here in about 5-6 minutes here. But we had the opportunity to expand into the space next door at the distillery, and we're in negotiations to expand and add on 5,000 square feet next door. So that's going to give us room for about another 500 barrels.
Hey, Max, you're going to set me off on a tangent. As a supply chain nerd, what's your biggest supply chain challenges part of a growing brand?
Yes.
If I could have a list on the wall of all of the glass manufacturers that we deal with and all the tariffs that we've been chasing all over the world and trying to figure out where our glass was, I never thought I'd be talking about where our glass is going to come from in the future for about 4 hours a day, or trying to figure out why the same mold is called three different things, but our cork only fits two of them. So glass has been a very, very big challenge since we started this. Never saw that one coming.
Anybody that has issue with the code, it's definitely working. I'm not sure what's firing wrong. I'll refund your shipping. Don't worry about it.
Cigar blend batch for shortlisters. That is something that we are going to work on most likely next year, right, Clinton?
100%. I've been going through a lot of the single barrels or the barrels of the blends. We just have so much coming out. We're delaying cigar batch for a little bit. After Swarm will be a Q1 release this year too.
Yeah, after Swarm, and so the next couple, just so everyone knows, the next couple things we're going to be doing. Brian, you said you just bought the new bottle. Is that all those are going to be shipped, correct?
You can pick them up.
You can pick them up. All right, cool. Next couple things, the Takai Rye is going to come out next, I believe, right?
Yeah.
We've got, and then we have obviously Bee's Knees hitting Florida and Tennessee soon. It's already in Kentucky and Georgia. And it already went to Texas as well. Bee's Knees 5 is not in Texas yet, so that's going to happen later this year. And then in Q1 we'll have After Swarm and Cigar Batch, and we are releasing a fun little plaything, I guess, under Old Fourth. We want to do something fun, inexpensive, and cool. So Clinton's been playing, and Sam have been playing with a white port finish rye. It'll be Georgia on online only through the under the Old Fourth label at I think $39.99.
Yeah, 102 proof blend of 4 to 6 year old rye.
Just for a little bit of fun.
Dave Fagan, I don't think we have any of these at the distillery. Wait,
which?
No, we do. These are the distillery. These can be picked up.
Well, they're probably going to sell out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to check out online. You cannot show up. This thing there's less than 40 bottles available now.
Yeah. David, sorry, I took that as, are they just going to be on the shelf? No, everything's probably going to sell out here.
Justin, there were 3 labels for Cigar Batch 3, actually. There was a blend for online only, and there was a high rye and a low rye. The low rye was the blue label, the red was the high And we are going to have some events in the fall. We're going to do a Sasquatch release, or what are we doing, Clinton?
I'm not sure yet. We haven't got that far yet.
We're going to do something more heading towards into like November, I believe. And we are going to have some weekend hours leading up to the holidays and stuff like that, where our team is going to be manning and stuff like that. Ryan Davidson asked if we, Tracy, thank you so much. If you can pick up.
Linder, there will be something on Black Friday for the shortlist. There's only 65 local people out of the 500 that are actually local, so there's actually not a whole bunch. So it would make a lot of people very upset if we did a only thing at the distillery, since we can't ship a lot of these things.
Yeah, we'll definitely do more of these too. If we're gonna have a meetup in person, we'll make sure to give about a month notice so that we can make sure that we get everybody as much of an opportunity as possible. And the one thing I'll say is, you definitely don't want to stay in the hotels right by the distillery, so you may want to, unless you want to pay by the hour.
Yeah, it depends on what you're after.
You might bring some souvenirs home you can't get rid of. But
there's a nice Sinesta right up the street.
but you may want to. So the key is you stay in Buckhead or over in different
Peachtree Corners area, somewhere like that.
What?
Peachtree Corners.
Peachtree Corners is great. There's a Marriott right there and a few other things. You can stay up in Dunwoody or down near me in Buckhead or near these guys in Dunwoody, and definitely some killer restaurants. Atlanta, I'm gonna say I'm an Atlanta native. I'm fourth generation. I was born and raised here. My kids and I were all born at Northside Hospital. Midtown's great as well, and we love where we live, and Atlanta's an amazing restaurant city. There's great hotels here. And I bet, Clinton, we could do some kind of a deal down at the Fourth, if any of the, or at what's the
Rooftop,
or any of those guys, and
yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure out some fun stuff, and it may be too much to do during O&D. I'm not going to lie, so it may be an early spring event. But we're going to put something really cool together. And Dave's going to be our last question for the day. The airport opens in 3 weeks, the Old Fourth Lounge. So keep an eye out. The next shortlist bottle, you will be getting information very, very soon. It will not be an American light whiskey. It will be a straight bourbon.
It'll at least be over 10 years old.
Yeah. We got some fun stuff on the way, though. But those back to the shortlist event. We'll probably do a shortlist event in the spring. Terminal E near gate E28. I believe is right where it's going to be. And just so everybody knows, with the airport, we're not running it. We're licensing our name. They asked about that, and we had some control over the drink menu, and they're going to be using our products. And somebody just asked about how many rick houses we have. We are in a storage. It's all in one spot in Norcross. It's in terms of all of our stuff in Georgia. And then we do have barrels spread out in 5 different rick houses up in Kentucky and Indiana. But they're not ours. We pay storage there. Terminal E, E28 is the gate. Should be by the end of the month. The rick house that we have is not insulated. It's not even a rick house, actually. We are in an industrial storage building, in a industrial storage, industrial complex in Norcross. We've got about 10,000 square feet there right now. We're about to add in another 5,000 square feet. None of the shortlist barrels will ever be available for purchase. They're only for shortlist members. So if you're on the 4 a year, you'll get all 4. If you're on the 2 a year, you'll get 2. We only are producing enough of each blend to go to the people. It is not insulated. If you ever come and visit us in the summer, we joke that you have to weigh in and weigh out at the end of the day to make sure you're not too dehydrated to drive home. It's hot as hell. The heat's
Tracy,
great.
We bottle in Chambly. That's it. Distillery Modern Art has distilled for us. They do all of our vodkas and everything else too, but that's all we do over there.
Yep, we're doing a lot of stuff up in our spot. We got a lot of good heat. We know we're going to be adding more bottles in case of shipping. That's for sure. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to bounce. It's been an hour. It was great meeting you guys. It's lovely to see your faces, and we look forward to doing the next one of these here soon. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye.